There's a certain nobility in indie games. As far back as human history has been recorded, the independent artist strives to create art that is meaningful, unique, sometimes transgressive, sometimes out of catharsis, not adhering to the bullshit rules of having to work for some big stupid fucking company, being able to play by their own rules, being able to tell the stories they want to tell. There is nothing more genuine, more human, more naked and vulnerable than the unblemished vision of an artist creating their take on a video game. We're in kind of an exciting time. Jeff Keighley's yearly celebrity cum-guzzling festival doesn't actually fucking matter that much in the grand scheme of things, but it's really exciting that 2 video games made by single people made waves and netted tons and tons of new fans last year. Despite how saturated the internet has become with everybody and their mother making various creative projects, we live in an era where anyone can truly make it big by themselves. That's amazing to me. I don't really need to intro this shit 4 videos in, do I? I'm gonna talk about some cool indie games I found on Steam and maybe some other shit. Giddy up. You know what these videos have been missing the past few years? RPG Maker games. I talked about like 3 of them in the first video I did on this channel, and I haven't really talked about one in great detail since then. This isn't for lack of trying. I've definitely played a few RPG Maker games that were new to me over the past few years, but a lot of the time I just feel like I don't have anything interesting to say about games, even if I really enjoy my experiences with them. I got into Yume Nikki Online last year, and I've had a good time playing Tuki with friends, which is my favorite way to experience that game. Because it's so fucking massive, I'd feel completely lost if I didn't have my buddies with me to guide my ass around. I played Felvedek and fucking loved it. It's one of the first RPG makers I've played that truly felt like it was primarily inspired by Hylics, both in its tone, aesthetics, and presentation. It's easy to compare the attacks taking place in first person and the somewhat weird soundtrack and old English writing to everything Hylics has going on, and it's just as fun and funny as that game is in a lot of ways. But yeah, I don't know. Talking about games in a way that I feel satisfied with is hard sometimes. Boo fucking who, the YouTuber doesn't know how to be interesting. Fucking skill issue. I'm gonna try and get over myself and talk about Beetle Ninja for a few minutes here because it's amazing and deserves way more attention. It's free, so you have no excuse to not check it out. Beetle Ninja wears its inspiration from Lisa on its sleeve, but it manages to hold its own identity really well. It has a really unique, doomed kind of atmosphere, and the fact that the entire game has an expiration date really helps sell that. You have a limited amount of days with the in-game timer before the world is gonna end, so it's the type of game you're gonna want to play through multiple times so you can see everything that happens in it, because it's impossible to see all of the events that happen in one go. I really like that you have to make definitive choices during the entire game because events are set to happen on specific days, and sometimes certain days have more than one major event happening, and you can't do them all. No 2 people's initial playthroughs are going to look exactly the same, and I really find that to be impressive for a relatively small and free RPG Maker game. The basic setup is that you're a freelance ninja in a doomed world. You can take on jobs to try and help people during these wretched days, or you can spend all of your time drinking at the bar or rizzing up the girl that works at the 7-Eleven. If Lisa is a post-apocalyptic game, I'd say that Beetle Ninja is a pre-apocalyptic game. The literal in-game timer aside, it has a really tense atmosphere. It feels like shit could all go bad at the blink of an eye at any moment, and all of the characters react to living in this world in different ways. The dialogue is written in a way that I really enjoy too. The characters are all very likable and interesting to listen to, and I love how many recruitable party members there are. That aspect of Lisa is one of my absolute favorite parts of it, and I really admire how that idea translates here. Like I mentioned a second ago, you're a ninja doing freelance jobs. You're literally a lance for hire. But you aren't the only one in town doing this shit. You can head down to the bar and hire other ninjas for hire to live at your place and go on missions with you. And you're gonna fucking need them. I made the mistake during the first mission of trying this shit by myself, and I got my ass pounded so hard I had to take a shower afterward. And then it happened a second time because I'm an idiot and I forgot to get any healing items when I was trying to tell the 7-Eleven girl how many donuts I can stack on top of it. which is 0. The jobs that you can take will be the majority of your gameplay time. You answer the phone in your office to receive messages from clients asking for help with insanely fucked up shit happening all over the world. Beetle Ninja is a poverty-stricken proletariat like all of us, but he must have some deal with the local airline to be able to fly wherever he needs to for free. Maybe as a company they just romanticize the idea of a costumed hero saving the world. I can dig that shit. I don't get anything out of superhero stuff now, but to say that I didn't think Spider-Man kicked ass when I was a little kid would be a complete and total fucking bald-faced lie. Oh shit, I thought that said Autechre Airlines and I was about to go, damn, that's awesome. Sean and Rob, if you're out there, if you're listening, I need you to take your incredible talents for building the most dense and indecipherable beats of all time and build the most dense and indecipherable airplane of all time. After you do this, I'm gonna hijack it and crash it into the SpaceX guy's house. I have a vision for this world. I'm gonna save this world. Every job you accept will take you to a different dungeon, and you'll have to do different things, find different NPCs or items or whatever, battle weird fleshy creatures, etc. The missions are all really fun, and I enjoyed exploring every single one that I played, even though the layouts of these areas would sometimes be a little bit confusing. Complaining about an RPG Maker game having a confusing layout is like going to the fucking beach and complaining about how much sand there is, though.
My pussy hurt.
This shit just comes with the territory. I love it all the same. The character designs are all really fantastic too, just really memorable and awesome and unique while still being silly and fun. I would watch the shit out of a Beetle Ninja Saturday morning cartoon with all of these cool, colorful weirdos. It's a Saturday morning in 2008. You're 13 years old and the new episode of Beetle Ninja is airing on Disney RAR XD. Disney XD Gale of Darkness. You don't have any homework and you're gonna spend the weekend making pivot animations on the computer and reading Rosario Vampire. Your mom is going through her second divorce. The weird kid in your math class keeps trying to get you to come over to his house so you can huff paint with him in his basement. I really like the sprites of all the characters and the art direction overall is great. Again, super reminiscent of Lisa, which in turn makes it super reminiscent of Earthbound. But this is a quirky Earthbound inspired indie RPG that is absolutely worth your time and attention. It always makes me so happy when games of this quality are released for free. They're such a blessing. The soundtrack of Beetle Ninja is awesome too. The main battle theme got stuck in my head for days after I played this shit. Post Elvis always brings the fucking house down. There was also a section of the game that made me really happy in relation to the music. There's a bit in the game where you're jumping from car to car, traveling down an American highway, and this insanely fucking cool song started playing. And at first I didn't want to enter any battles because as much as I liked the battle themes up to that point, I didn't want the cool overworld music to stop because that shit happens so often in RPGs. But holy fuck, I got so hyped when the cool new song kept playing after I would enter a battle. I love when that happens. I love when the cool vibe overrides the regular rules and conventions that games typically abide by. Sometimes you just want to live out your fantasy of being a guy in a beetle costume committing acts of hyper-violence in your very own inner music video of the mind. Yeah, this game kicks serious ass. Every party member brings their own battle style to every fight, and it's fun to see which characters you're gonna end up liking to use. And I love that not all of them are winners. Some of them just straight up suck balls. But every ninja costs a different amount of money to hire for the missions you go on, so you usually kinda get what you pay for. My actual favorite part of this game though is probably just talking to your party members back at the crib when you're not doing anything. They have new dialogue every single day and you really get to know a lot of them. I love Juice Ninja's whole whacked out party guy deal, and Rage Ninja having a bunch of different backstories that maybe have some truth to them, maybe don't, maybe interested in him too. I really enjoy going through all the dialogue with all of the characters a lot. There's just so much personality here, and I think this game deserves to enter the RPG Maker Hall of Fame. I haven't really even talked about its story much, but it's funny and compelling and even really heartfelt when it wants to be. I was really impressed with the overall tone of this game. It balances being kind of uneasy and tense with being funny and goofy and silly so well, and nothing ever really feels like a wrong turn or out of place, despite the game kind of going all over the place with different ideas and stuff. Okay, I don't want to talk about this game anymore because I want you all to play it and to get surprised by how much more cool shit is in it than I even mentioned here. You're welcome. Have fun. I have a lot of fondness for LCD games because of the Game & Watch. Obviously the original Game & Watch machines were a little bit before my time, but I grew up playing the Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance collections of the Game & Watch games. And while I loved the unique sprites for Mario and Friends and the modern adaptations of these minigames, there's a simple charm in playing the ports of the original releases. Mario's Cement Factory, Fire, Manhole. I enjoy turning my brain off and playing a simple repetitive game for as long as I can hold out while listening to the beeps and boops. So when I stumbled upon Light City District on Steam, I was so fucking excited to play it. Oh my god, a whole ass adventure game that plays like a Game & Watch. Fucking hell yeah, that's such a good idea. I was so utterly thrilled by this discovery, and it was cheap as shit, so I immediately bought it and downloaded it. I unfortunately have to preface my thoughts on this game with 2 warnings. My computer kinda sucks ass, but I have a GTX 1080 slapped into this hunk of shit, and the game still ran weirdly bad on it. Sometimes it would crash on the loading screens or suddenly make my entire PC freeze up, and I don't really know what exactly is up with that. I don't know why this fucking video game made up entirely of 2D assets would require a hunking graphics card the size of Timothée Chalamet's dick to work properly. Or maybe my computer is just finally hitting the end of its natural lifespan, fuck if I know. Either way, be aware if you're interested in this game, it might be a slight pain in the ass to get working properly. And nobody's played this shit yet, so there aren't any people in the Steam community posting about how to fix any technical issues, as I'm writing this at least. Second thing I need to bring up before I talk about this is that this is kind of just a demo. There's only about an hour of content in the game so far, and that really bummed me out because I was so intrigued and mesmerized by this project. But maybe if some of you guys start checking it out and sharing it around, the dev will be able to dedicate more time to making more of it. Maybe you're immediately writing this off because the dev is charging $5 for an hour of gameplay that cuts off at a cliffhanger, but it didn't stop me from thinking that this was cool and wanting to share it with you guys. I'm sure the developer is working on adding more to this game when they can. The store page description does specifically state that this is just the first chapter, and they want to make more of it when they're able to. Anyway, let's talk about the game a little bit because I really like it a lot. Light City District is like a point-and-click adventure game, but obviously done in the style of an LCD Game & Watch game. I love the art direction a lot and the sprites for every character as they harshly move from position to position on screen. It's endlessly charming to me. See, look at this shit. I'm gonna make him go back and forth here. Okay, now go to sleep. You play as this detective guy in a trench coat, and you can make him smoke a cigarette while wistfully staring out of his office window, so this shit's already honestly a 10 out of 10. You have to navigate the world by doing various mini-games in between the point-and-click adventure beats with dialogue and puzzles. Like, the first thing you have to do in this game is find a little old lady's cat for her. But before you can do that, you have to leave your apartment building without your landlord or her dog seeing you, so you've got to move your ass down the hallways, jumping over the dog, kind of like Donkey Kong Jr., and hiding in the plants and garbage cans like my Uncle Helios after that lady he was dating hit him with a restraining order. Then after you exit your apartment building, you've got to find out where the old lady lives. You can gather information by talking to NPCs, and even though the text crawls across the screen in a really disorienting way, I really like the way the dialogue is presented with inconsistent lettering, like it really is coming off of an old LCD screen, like an alarm clock or some shit. The dialogue has a lot of typos, and it's very clearly written by somebody who doesn't speak English as their first language. In fact, I immediately clocked them as most likely being from South America or Mexico because of the way this little girl goes hee hee hee. It's exactly like that fucking Billy and Mandy meme comic. On the store page, the creator wrote some notes in English and Spanish, so I was fucking right too. I'm not racist. Encanta tu videojuego, hermano. Quiero follar las tetas de Megan Thee Stallion. Once we make our way past these falling items and clumsily fuck around in a few more areas, we finally find the old lady in her big ass mansion. Oh shit, okay, we're going full old school point and click adventure now. Gotta cycle through every item in the mansion individually, including every single goddamn book on these shelves. We end up figuring out how to solve a puzzle involving the books, and even though this shit took me like 20 minutes to figure out, I was super engaged the whole time. The writing is even pretty good, despite the aforementioned language barrier and somewhat disorienting presentation choice. There's some somewhat sinister things that you could read into about this old lady's whole deal and her cat and her husband and everything, but I'll leave that for the people that actually try playing this game to discover. Actually, fuck, I'll leave the rest of it a surprise too. Despite its incredibly short length so far, I think this shit is really cool. If you think it's interesting, please try it out. There are a few little tiny side missions and lots of dialogue to read with different characters and stuff. I really admire everything about this game. The creator's itch.io page goes into some detail about how dedicated to authenticity they were, explaining how they drew everything on 2 layers so no 2 sprites would overlap because that would be impossible on actual 80s LCD hardware. I kneel, it's so fucking goddamn cool. And look, I really feel like this shit probably runs completely fine on most computers, even though I had some minor issues with it. I really feel like the problem is me. My computer meets the hardware specifications, but I also built it in like 2013. My shit freezes up if I have like 6 Firefox tabs open. I brought up the technical issues because I'd feel bad if anybody bought this game and couldn't run it and then refunded the guy when barely anybody has bought the game to begin with. So please proceed with caution, but definitely check the shit out if it looks interesting to you and you meet the hardware specifications on the store page, and you're okay with the short length. This game was one of my absolute favorite discoveries of 2024, and I really hope more people buy it and play it. So please consider checking it out if you grew up with Game & Watch Gallery like I did, or if you have a hyper-specific fascination with Mr. Game & Watch. I like skateboarding a lot. It's really cool. It's the only real sport that I've ever really given a shit about. I had a board when I was 16 and I would skate around my city a little bit, but I never really learned how to kickflip or grind on rails or anything. It was just a casual hobby of mine, just another way to get exercise and to have an excuse to not be around my parents as a kid. You know how it is. Even though I'm too old and gay to skate anymore, I still really enjoy watching skateboarding videos a lot. I love checking out street competition highlights from the X Games and following random skate dudes on YouTube. But my most recent interest is Kaso. It's kind of everything that I wanted out of a skating TV show, and it's free and English dubbed on YouTube.
ただ楽しむ理由なんてない我は末何も見えない意味なんていらない普通では入れないノリノリで乗りこなしていくよサバイブやりたいこれに夢中満足できないよ旅の途中欲しいもん全部掴む I want you 見逃すな新たなニューゲーム
Kaso is a Japanese skateboarding game show, I guess is the best way to describe it. A bunch of skaters with varying degrees of fame and skill all do their best to make it through these obstacle courses a la American Ninja Warrior or Wipeout. More like wipe ass. I like it a lot because the skaters aren't really competing against each other, it's more of a unifying thing. It's like all of them together against the courses. Everybody is happy whenever one guy makes it to the end. It's a victory for everybody. I really love that a lot. It's one of the nicest things that currently exists on the internet.
やばいっす
やばいっす
いやもうほんまにスケボーやっててよかったですいやほんまに泣きそうっすねスケーターって街で嫌われてるとか、
はい
いろんな偏見の目で見られてるって、
うん
それでいろいろ毎日不安とか、
はい
自分の中で葛藤があって、
はいはいはいはい
だけどこういう番組でこういう場所用意してもらって、
はい
そこで自分の実力で100万取れるなんて、
はい
ほんまに夢みたいです
I highly recommend checking it out if you have even a vague interest in skateboarding. I just wanted to bring it up before I continue talking because I think it rules and more people should check it out. Of course, my interests in both skateboarding and video games led to me playing skateboarding games. I love Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and Underground, American Wasteland, fucking of course, yeah. The remake of Pro Skater 1 and 2 is up on Steam now and 3 and 4 is coming this summer. They put fucking SpongeBob in it? What the fuck? So thankfully there's finally good skateboarding games on Steam, which is great. It was kinda destitute for a minute there. Session and Skater XL aren't really my thing. I tried getting into them a bit and it just wasn't for me. I've spent a lot of time looking to see if there are any indie games that are as fun as Pro Skater on Steam for a good while, but it's been hard to find anything that quite scratches that itch. Skatebird is a cute novelty, but the physics are all wrong. It doesn't really feel fun or satisfying at all to play, unfortunately. Motor Doom is much more fun to play, but it has this Vampire Survivors gimmick to it that kind of changes the point of playing it entirely. It's super great and I definitely recommend checking it out, but it's not really the same chill experience that makes something like Pro Skater as fun and replayable as it is. Street Uni X... Oh, this is a unicycle game? Shit, I feel like I barely even knew that there was like a street unicycle scene. Let me fucking watch some videos or something, hang on. Well, damn, okay. Sure, I'm fucking sold on the concept already. It's very easy to call Street Uni X Pro Skater but with unicycles, and I honestly think that's exactly what the developer Daffodil was going for, with these funny fake PlayStation bios and options to make the game look even more like it was supposed to come out on the PS1. Daffodil is actually one of the people I showed a second ago. It's cool that a person that actually unicycles IRL is the developer of this shit. I feel like this is probably the closest experience that the average person could have to actually riding a unicycle around a city because of that. This game's whole deal is, again, pretty much exactly like Pro Skater. You have 2 minutes to accomplish as many goals as possible by racking up points with tricks, collecting letters, you know what it is already. The maps aren't too terribly big, but you've got lots of options to rack up points. I'm a scrub and I had a hard time breaking past my Pro Skater muscle memory, so the way I could most reliably get a bunch of points was by chaining rail grinds together. But if I poured a lot more time into this game, I think I could eventually get a lot better at this shit. You can manual, Sorry, not manual. What's it fucking called? Coasts. Okay, you can do coasts to link tricks together and stuff in this game, just like you would manuals in Pro Skater, so you could theoretically have a combo that lasts an unreal amount of time, which is fun. You can do career mode or free ride, and you can play as any of these actual real-life unicycle riders. I'm gonna choose this guy because I like his yellow hat. You ready to go, buddy? See, look at him, he's so excited. First level is an abandoned water treatment plant, and it's basically the perfect type of first level in a game like this. It's small, but there are a lot of little landmarks to play around with, and completing all of the objectives will naturally get you to explore the whole level to find your favorite places to get points. I don't have that much to say about the actual gameplay, it's exactly what it looks like and it's fun. It's a bit easier to fall off your cycle when you're doing tricks and stuff, but a big part of me feels like that was probably intentional. Like, skateboarding and stuff is hard, no doubt, but I'm pretty sure unicycling is on another level. It makes sense to me that this shit feels like a skateboarding video game with the difficulty settings raised a little bit. There are 3 more levels to play in this game, including a downtown level, an indoor park, and a school. I like all 4 levels that you get to play on, but downtown and school are the best because they're the biggest. The indoor park is pretty tiny, but you can hit these openers up here to go outside and cycle around in the parking lot, which is nice. I wish you could explore a little bit more without the game being all like, hey jackass, get back here, like I'm committing a crime or something by wanting to run around in the woods. But it's like this in Pro Skater 2, so, you know, whatevs. Fuck, I really like that. I think it's the first time I've ever said whatevs in my life. Fuck, I feel like such a cool hippie youth right now. I really dig that as you continue to beat goals in every level, you get little text messages from the dev, Daffodil. They'll text you stuff like, hey gamer, I saw somebody do this sick fucking trick the other day. Here's the button combo to pull it off. And hey asshole, stop going out of bounds. And oh shit, this is just like House of Leaves. This is just like Umaneko When They Cry. The music in this game is worth mentioning too. It's all really good punk and noise rock. Very fitting of the game's vibe, but I do honestly wish there was a tiny bit more variety in the track list here. I totally understand that this is all music that Daffodil probably loves in their personal day-to-day life. And it's their game and shit. It's no hard feelings here or whatever. But if I was in charge, I'd include some hip-hop and house and juke tracks or something. Just a little more variety to accompany you while you're rolling around in these maps could have been nice. Maybe a nice soothing R&B song.
When I smoke that crack, I feel like $1 million. Feel like $1 million. When I smoke that crack, I feel like $1 million. Smoking on the crack, hit that crack pipe, feel like $1 million. Yeah, I love smoking on that crack. Love smoking on that crack at my baby mama's house. When I pull up to my crib, smoking on that crack pipe. Fuck. Yeah, love smoking on.
Sorry, I thought I could go out there and I thought I'd be able to go out there. You know, it's kind of crazy that I'm just casually rolling around on this fucking single wheel. I feel like a real life cartoon character. I had a bike as a kid and I had that Dave Merritt BMX game on the GameCube, but this is so much cooler than biking, man. Somebody could yell, hey, do a wheelie at me, and I'd only be able to say, I'm already fucking doing one, bro. I creamed my fucking pants playing this game harder than all those Pitchfork writers did when Kanye sampled Can. Yeah, I bet you dipshits feel real fucking stupid now, huh? I really loved playing this game a lot, and I really appreciate it for introducing me to the street unicycle scene in general. There are a lot of really talented people out there tearing it up with this funny little circus clown wheel machine. Kyle Alviani, for instance, the guy that I've been playing as in the game. He posts insane shit on YouTube all the time. Check this out. There's also this unicycle social media site called .io, where people post about unicycle events and videos of themselves doing cool shit if you're interested in exploring this stuff in a bit more detail. I love seeing people putting time and effort into cultivating a skill like this, and it's beautiful to see communities spring out of like-minded individuals that all have passion for their craft. All shit like this is really impressive to me, not even just with extreme sports, with anything. Like, there's this really cool guy that's subscribed to my Patreon that goes by the name Jackpath, and he uploads the coolest yo-yo videos I've ever seen.
Over nothing. Over. Form chopstick. Alright. And keep doing it. Exit. Triangle. Exit out the back. Pass the trick. Hope you enjoy.
I did enjoy very much, thank you. This game's a blast. I enjoyed my time with it so much. It was a nice little reminder that almost everybody on Earth is really, really cool sometimes. Anyway, the next game I want to talk about is, No, I did this bit already in the last video where I brought up Justin Trudeau's favorite video game. I gotta get better at transitioning. Next game has a dragon in it. Maybe. No, not those ones. No, not those ones. No, not those ones. The store page for Dragon Ruins describes it as a dragon crawling microgame for tired people. I was curious as to what the fuck the dev meant by this and snooped around in the community forums until I found the answer. Interesting. I wonder if... Okay, this is the chillest video game experience I've had in a while. Dragon Ruins immediately kind of captivated me with its vibes and presentation. The art assets by this artist named Torio on Pixiv are lovely, and the slightly fuzzy filter over everything with the minimalist black void that you explore all won me over pretty fast. You start by picking which party members you want to go with, like in the NES Final Fantasy games, and explore one giant dungeon and slowly grind out battles that happen automatically while leveling up your party members and their equipment. It's super basic, but the vibes are incredible. The loop of running around and discovering more and more of the maze, finding new enemies that are stronger and harder to beat, collecting gold to buy upgrades, running back to the town to refresh, diving back in. It's insanely fun. I appreciated little things in the design of Dragon Ruins despite how incredibly simplistic and bare bones an experience it really is. Like the fact that the battles don't halt you in place and you can continue to move around while they go on automatically and clear out more undiscovered space in the map if you wish. If you walk into a battle that you're not sure if you're going to be able to win, you can also just nope the fuck out of there by leaving the room you just entered, and the enemies have to just kind of accept it. They're playing by your rules, not the other way around. Game does a good job of making you feel powerful even in the early game by how much control you have over stuff like this. You need to collect gold from enemies in order to get basically everything you need in the game too. Medicine, scrolls that teleport you out of the dungeon immediately, levels, etc. So you're conditioned to release dopamine when you see certain classes of enemy because you realize that certain ones are prone to dropping way more gold than others. It's fucking awesome playing this shit and being aware of how hard it's MK Ultraing you in real time. I wish it was a bit longer and that there were a few more elements at play, like maybe finding some chests and items and stuff. In general, I just wish that there was more to this game because you can finish it in 2 to 3 hours, and after that it takes you maybe another hour max to finish New Game Plus. But I think this shit was made for a game jam or something, so I can't really complain all that much. It's honestly pretty phenomenal for what it is. The developer intended for this to be a game that you chill out with after work, and I think they absolutely succeeded in making an ideal game for exactly that. You could finish this shit in one night, or you could play it in short bursts in between other stuff you've got going on. It's super comfy and chill. It's definitely not a replacement for a quote-unquote real dungeon crawler, but it's extremely fun for what it is. Moving around in this black void with the drony ambient synths in the background. If you threw the occasional saxophone in here, it'd almost feel like I was running around in the Black Lodge. Hey, that's a reference to the freaking fucking Twin Peaks. Man, what was up with The Return anyway? I mean, if you asked me what I thought of it, I'd probably say something like, it's my favorite thing that has ever aired on television. It's the best part of Twin Peaks. But like, in the original 2 seasons, Lucy is pregnant for most of it. But then in The Return, they made Andy the one that's pregnant. Why did they do this? Listen closely. Listen carefully. I am going to tell you something important. They are trying to pin the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson on the rock individual. A game cannot kill a man You wanna know something kind of funny? I went to bed after I finished playing this game and writing about it, and I was just thinking about how much fun it was while falling asleep, thinking, damn, it'd be sick if there was a sequel where there was just more of everything. And then I woke up the next day and realized that this fucking actually existed and it came out like a week ago. Holy shit. Dragon Ruins 2 is the exact same game, but supercharged. There are way more mechanics at play, status effects and more variations and abilities for your party members during level ups, multiple dungeons to explore, way more dialogue, chests that you can open, multiple quests that you can go on for each dungeon. They put a fucking monkey party member in this shit, oh my god. They did this just for me. Honestly, I haven't finished Dragon Ruins 2 yet, even though I've put more time into it now than the original game. It's just that much longer and more involved. I'm so delighted that a sequel came out. Definitely consider checking both of these out, but the sequel is the bigger game. If you're sold on the concept, peep the sequel because it's better. If you want a smaller, bite-sized experience or just to dip your toes in, try the first game. So I'm always puzzled whenever I bring up Fly Wrench to people and they've never heard of it. It's one of those games that's cemented in my mind as being like a classic indie game staple of the 2010s. Fly Wrench showed up in Super Meat Boy as a playable character along with characters like Gish and Jill from Mighty Jill Off and the Kid from I Wanna Be the Guy, which is where I heard about all this shit fucking a decade and a half ago now. Fly Wrench was originally a freeware game made by Messoff, who you might know now for Needhog and a few other projects. When I first played the original Fly Wrench, it kind of blew my mind. I loved how absolutely weird it is. Its bright, flashy visuals that made me grateful to not have epilepsy. The fucking soundtrack that was made up of loud, distorted buzzing sounds and broken sounding drum sequences.
Don't get it. It sounds like shit on purpose.
It just left a really significant impression on me. I'd finish school for the day and boot up my computer back at home and lose myself in this shit. It was a weirdly addictive experience for me. Fly Wrench is kind of a platformer, although your little character, which in the first game is just called Pilot 6802, is constantly in the air and you need to maneuver around everything in the way in order to beat the levels and win. You flap your wings to stay afloat, you can also roll to turn green and bounce off of walls and shit. I don't really know how to describe it, but it feels fucking awesome just moving around in this game. Once you get good at going through these levels really fast, it's incredibly satisfying to blast through everything as quick as possible. And again, I just really loved the overall presentation and game experience of this project back in the day. So in 2015, it's been 10 years. In 2015, Messoff dropped a complete commercial remake of Fly Wrench on Steam and I went fucking apeshit. It's just like the old game but completely redone from the ground up. New visuals, new levels, new music that actually sounds like something I don't have to be ashamed of for enjoying. Fucking hell yeah. There's accessibility options this time around too. You can play on easy mode, so there's no reason everybody on the planet can't pick this shit up and have a good time with it. Fly Wrench doesn't really have a plot or anything. You're just moving from planet to planet until you reach the sun in the center of our solar system. Every planet presents new hazards and stage gimmicks, and the entire run through the game feels constantly fresh because of the steady stream of new, interesting ideas. Flying into these blue buttons to open gates is cool. Having to rapidly flap through these gravity streams so you don't get sucked downward is cool. Dodging these turrets and windmills is cool. Shit is like Don Quixote on ayahuasca. This is just a video game that you feel cool playing. I don't know. Part of it is probably how fucking hard it is. But when you do finally make multiple perfect executions after being stuck on a level for like 3 minutes, it's orgasmic. The simple movement options are virtually the same in this game as the original. It's easy to learn, hard to get good at. There's also a level editor where you can make your own stages and planets to play through. It's just a lot of fun. I really like Messoff as a developer. He's one of those guys that I'm always looking forward to seeing what they make next. Right now he's making a game called Wheel World. It looks really cool. As of writing this, I haven't played the demo yet, but I'm stoked to check it out sometime. I'm happy to see him do something really big and ambitious like this. I hope this game does really well when it comes out. One of these dipshit streamer guys plays it and it blows up. I dream of a world where awkwardly cropped Family Guy clips and slime ASMR videos are paired with indie game footage instead of Subway surfers. The iPad babies of modern society deserve to be entertained with video games made by passionate artists. Anyway, play Fly Wrench. It's fantastic. And if you buy it, maybe Messoff will be able to finish Wheel World faster. You know what? I couldn't put my finger on it before, but this reminds me of something. You guys are always fucking talking about how much you want a remake of Earthbound, all the time. I read takes like this almost every day that I go online. When's Earthbound getting a remaster? When's Nintendo gonna make a re-release of Earthbound? But guys, It already came out. Don't you remember? I thought it was pretty good. Come on, Paula, we've gotta go save the world from Gaiagus. Oh, fuck. Jesus Christ. Before we move on, I want to bring up a few honorable mentions. Some games that I've really enjoyed playing recently that I don't know how to talk about at length. Either I haven't played enough of them, or I'm not smart enough, or whatever. Anyway, Studio System is a fucking sick survival horror game with an awesome and unique 3D anime-inspired art style. Writing is good, atmosphere is incredible, and it's quite unlike anything I've ever played. Definitely give this a shot if you like the character designs, or if you like Resident Evil. There's a lot of love and possibly even hate put into this one, and it's made quite an impression on me. I'm excited to finish playing it one of these days. I adore the environmental design, and I haven't said I can fix her out loud this much while playing a video game since I first played Silent Hill 3 when I was 15. Shiner is a free-to-play RPG with very simple to understand but still very deep mechanics. You gain the abilities of the enemies you defeat, and you have to figure out which order to beat them in the overworld, since different attacks and abilities are more effective to use in certain situations and against certain enemies. It kind of feels like a puzzle game because of that, and even though it's short and clearly a student project or something, I really dug it and would love to see this idea expanded upon for a much bigger game. Art style is cute too, every character kind of looks like a doodle in a kid's school notebook. Very charming to me. You've definitely heard of it before, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention UFO 50, a fake Action 52 type game where 6 game devs made 50 games for you to play, and surprise, they're all fucking great. It's a true indie video game achievement, and it deserves every bit of praise it's ever gotten or ever will get. Some of my personal favorites in the bunch are Ping Golf, which is a 2D golf game, Night Manor, which is a point-and-click horror adventure game, and Divers, which is an exploration-focused RPG where you get to play as cool reptile guys. It's like if Dragon Quest was underwater. It's the type of game you might actually want to draw an actual real-life map on fucking notebook paper for. If you're a mentally ill 30-something like me and you enjoy 80s RPGs, I definitely recommend giving Divers a whirl. UFO 50 feels like a dream for anybody that grew up with one of those cheapo plug-and-play bootleg AV joysticks that are shaped like SpongeBob or Spider-Man or... Is that Buzz Lightyear's clitoris? What am I looking at? Okay, fucking listen. I'm sure you've heard of Balatro. You've probably played it before. Hell, you might even be playing it right now while you have this bitch-ass video on in the background. Stop playing only flushes. You're better than that. But hey, on the off chance that you're looking for a new funny monkey brain number go up game to spend your time with, I recommend Nubby's Number Factory. It's a lot cheaper too. If Balatro seems cool, but casually dropping 15 bucks on it seems a bit much. Nubby's Number Factory is a pachinko roguelike. Think Peggle, but with a much smaller board, and instead of the goal being to gradually hit all of the pegs over a few shots, it's to see how many points you can get with one shot. Your goal is to get the highest score you can, and the score quota gets higher and higher with each new round. I wonder if Terrence Howard took too many shifts at the Number Factory and that's why he's like that now. I gotta compliment the art direction and stuff here, it's lovely. Really authentically repping that early 3D fucking knick-knack bowling alley Sonic Schoolhouse shit. You could probably trick a 7th grade math teacher to have this shit on in one of the computers in her classroom. The UI and other little touches all feel really fitting for what's going on here. Reminds me a lot of Hypnospace Outlaw. It's a constant treat. The little items you pick up in the shops are all animated cutely, and I really enjoy when the guy watching me in the box over here makes the "my wife's boyfriend just bought me a Steam Deck" face whenever I get one of these loot drop things. It's fun. The whole game is just really lovable. It makes sense that it's been getting so popular in such a short amount of time. It's a lot of fun taking your run from the dregs to literally breaking the game from how big the numbers you're hitting get. Is that Stinger Flynn? But yeah, the shop's really cool because these cute little animated item guys all pimp Nubby out with power-ups and buffs. You can also buy more inventory slots, and once you buy all of them, you get access to the secret cafe with special exclusive items. I felt really excited the first time I saw this screen because it took me a little while before I got good enough at the game to be able to even afford getting in here. Look at that fucking mouth on the wall. That's awesome. Wait, what is that? Is that fucking Duster Stratosphere? Holy shit, that's one of my favorite albums of all time. Mog Dog Blog, you motherfucker. Do you like their latest album, In Dreams? I personally dug it a lot, but it's probably my least favorite record of theirs so far. It's kinda really similar to their work under the Valium Agaline side project. It's a lot spacier and more menacing sounding than their regular stuff. More soundscapey and less song oriented. I enjoy it all the same though. Duster's one of my favorite fucking bands. Hey, you guys know I like music, right? I don't know if you've picked up on all the subtle little references to various musical artists and albums that I like a lot over the years I've been making videos on this stupid fucking YouTube channel. As a person that enjoys and respects music a lot as an art form and unfortunately also spends a lot of time online, the most harrowing experience you can have is watching an album you like a lot get popular because the bald fuck from Connecticut reviewed it or some kid on TikTok sped it up so it can be in the background of a bunch of insanely stupid meme videos and it getting a little out of control. Look, I'm not an asshole. I love, for instance, that Duster got popular enough through avenues like TikTok that they could afford to go touring again and make more records after years and years of radio silence. I love seeing artists that I like getting their fucking due. But so many cunts on the internet especially love collecting obscure albums like Pokemon cards and then throwing them away after, all on a mission to build their hipster cred to seem like an interesting person. Rate Your Music is full of these people. It's insufferable. Or worse, they use their interest in music, genuine or otherwise, to build a brand online as an epic content creator where they talk about some of the most incredible albums ever created and seemingly try to make them sound as boring and uninteresting as possible. Video game YouTubers are one thing, right? Like the video game reviewer side of this website has its jokers. You see what I did there? But music reviewer YouTube makes me want to fucking kill myself. Holy shit. It's so bleak. Just dozens of idiots talking about the darkest album ever? It's just that fucking album by The Caretaker again and again.
Up to the expectations that were set forth. I really thought going into this that I would just be bored out of my mind listening to classical music for 6.5 hours. But boy, was I wrong. When I booted up the album, I was already shocked to hear that famous TikTok sound that is always stitched with weird and nostalgic.
Sorry, I don't mean to be such a shithead about this. I just have less respect for so-called music fans on the internet than I do video game guys. Anyway, that's why I've never really attempted to talk about music much on this channel, despite it being my favorite hobby. I would hate to contribute to the culture of people not appreciating the art that they're consuming, but I don't know. You guys are all cool, right? If I talked about an artist that I like a lot that I feel is underrated and obscure, you guys would listen to their music with the respect and attention that it deserves, right? Alright, we'll see if that works. The internet is incredible. You know? As annoying and mind-numbing as it can be, we are so fucking lucky to have it. I know I sound like I have brain damage when I talk like this, but it's truly amazing to me that anyone in the world can create or discover something and upload it online for everyone to check out. The problem is that it becomes harder and harder for people to be discovered and recognized for their hard work and effort. I've already made peace with the fact that I'm never going to be able to listen to every album ever made before I die. And I think as a consumer, it's exciting to know that you're literally never going to run out of cool new stuff to check out. But as an artist and creator, it can be kind of discouraging to be unrecognized for years and years with no guarantee that you're ever going to get an audience. In my personal experience, I've had a lot of fun making music for basically no one but myself for the past 10 plus years. And now that I'm doing this YouTube shit, the music that I make has actually gained a few new fans. Thank you for that. I'm very lucky, all things considered. But how does this affect an artist's drive, their creativity? I think it depends on the person, on the artist. But generally speaking, if your goal is to make songs or write books or code games that are enjoyed by people and nobody really ends up checking out what you're doing, how much longer are you going to be doing it? Think about this question for a sec. I'll come back to it. It's possible that you've seen this video before. It's a Flipnote animated music video for Billy Pollard's musical project, The Ghost in You. Billy Pollard has been making music under this name since 2010. The Ghost in You is not exactly a groundbreaking or super experimental project or anything either. The music is actually quite simple and easy to describe. Mr. Pollard is a singer-songwriter with an acoustic guitar. When I've told friends about his music, I've compared it to Elliott Smith and Nick Drake and Dan Barrett. He would actually be the first person to tell you that he's not the most technically skilled guitarist.
And I'm not like one of these people who's like downplaying. Like I'm not like, you know, Eddie Van Halen being like, yeah, I'm not really that great at guitar. Like I'm really a shitty guitar player. I'm self-taught lefty. I can't read music, and like many of my songs are literally two notes back and forth. And it's, for me, my talent is in my vocal melodies. Like, because, you know, if you just played my music by itself, you'd fucking shoot yourself. Like, you'd be so bored. Like,
but here's the thing. You don't need to be a skilled musician to make something special and compelling. And The Ghost in You, to me, is very special and compelling. All three The Ghost in You albums are terrific in my opinion, but the first one is what I'd like to focus on mostly here. The second two records were recorded with a bit more fidelity and technical know-how. And while Billy's songwriting and lyrical skills improve with each record, the first one has a rawness to it that makes it very special in my opinion. The album was recorded on 4-track cassette, so it has a very homemade, lo-fi atmosphere. The opening track, Seahorses, starts and you immediately kind of fall into the world of the album.
Oh, I'm not sure where I've gone.
The guitar work is very simplistic and repetitive, but it's so cozy. Every song on this record feels like Christmas morning, but this one especially. Billy Pollard's boyish delivery on this album reminds me of Nick Zamuto from the books. It's a comforting and pleasant accompaniment to the overall sound. Lyrically, Seahorses sounds desperate, pleading, defeated. The contrast of this kind of bright, jaunting instrumental with these pretty sad lyrics is immediately interesting and captivating. The lyric, "I'm not one for suicide," is real as fuck too. Depression isn't always this dramatic, actively destructive thing as much as it's an overwhelming ambivalence, a black hole. I immediately kind of connected with this and understood this as a teenager. I mean, I still understand and connect with it, but during the worst years of my life, I understood this more intimately. I'm grateful for the fact that these feelings are a little more retrospective for me now. We move on to Double Word Score, maybe my favorite track on the record. The repetitive guitar chords take a much more serious tone. We've become acquainted with the world of this album, now it's time to hear what he really has to say. Double Word Score's lyrics paint a picture of an internalized struggle and argument with oneself about an abusive or troubled relationship, cold embraces, solitude, not being able to break through to the other person. This uneasy relationship that the narrator has found himself trapped in, driving him to acceptance that one day it's going to kill him. It's all beautifully sung and expressed, and then we hit the second half of the song when he just repeats this line over and over again. This person's presence in his life is so overwhelming and vast that it is drowning him. This one always grabs me from the moment I hear the first strumming of its guitar. The thing that really grips you about this record, in my opinion, is how incredibly catchy every song is. Almost every song has an ending chorus, a refrain that is repeated and cemented in your mind. The track that follows, Newborn, is a great example of this, with it already having a super great chorus. But then he changes it slightly at the end of the song and it just really sticks out to me in a good way. It's one of those things where I don't know how universal this is, but a lot of the time when I'm listening to music, I kind of hum or think in my head of harmonizations, or I mentally kind of add shit to what I'm listening to. This is a lot easier to do with records that are more minimal. Actress's R.I.P., for example, is really good for this type of experience to me, because a lot of that album is kind of implied. But with this record, this song, I swear to God, the first time I heard this song, I was adding the ending chorus melody to the first chorus melody in my head, before I had even gotten to that point in the song. So when it did get there, I was blown away. I love that the song feels like it's split in two and you can kind of reattach it in your mind. This is why I never write about music. I sound out of my fucking mind right now. I first heard of The Ghost in You in 2014 or 2015, I think, on 4chan's music board. I spent a lot of time on Mew as a teenager because it was my favorite place to find new music. I would stalk every share thread I could, and downloading a bunch of albums that I had never heard or seen before back then was indispensable to my development as a human being. Somebody in one of those threads had the goodwill to upload a zip of The Ghost in You self-titled to Mediafire, and I downloaded it and I fell in love. After that, I went on YouTube and found out that he had animated his own music videos in Flipnote for 2 songs on the album, Losing Light and When Our Bedrooms Were Once Haunted. Billy's art style is very cutesy, reminiscent of illustrations in children's books. Comparisons to Where the Wild Things Are come to mind first, especially for Losing Light. Its video showcases a big bully monster guy seeing a cute little fairy creature flying in the sky, and he decides to fuck with it by throwing rocks at it. I've never interpreted this as the monster intentionally trying to kill the fairy, but that's unfortunately what ends up happening. The monster, filled with grief and regret at what he's done, buries the fairy underground. The song itself kind of subtly mirrors these feelings of guilt, but it mostly paints a picture of an adult reminiscing on their childhood in a bittersweet way. Maybe the fairy creature is supposed to represent the monster's inner child or something. The second music video is for When Our Bedrooms Were Once Haunted, which is a strong contender for the best song on the album. I really adore Billy's art style. The thick black circles around the eyes of the character, the little ghosties and endless trees. It's very reminiscent of a bygone era. My inner scene kid, I made you a cookie but I eated it ass is in love with every frame here. The song itself is great to me because it's 7 minutes long, but it always feels like 3. I always want to immediately listen to it again after I finish it. It's probably the comfiest song on the record, and its lyrics about being exhausted with life, this overwhelming mental fatigue spreading to the other people in the narrator's life, filling the room itself. I love it a lot. It's beautiful. Painful, but beautiful. The rest of the record is unsurprisingly just as fantastic as the tracks I've already spoken of. Compass and Guns is one of the more intense songs with lyrics that seem to be about a breakup, and it features the only usage of samples on the record, of spoken word dialogue from a movie or something. And the track Home Is Here features my favorite ending refrain on the album. But I want to talk about Billy Pollard now, the guy.
Hello there! Merry Christmas! Ho, ho, ho,
Hey, Santa.
ho. This is Santa Claus speaking. What's your name?
My name's Billy.
Have you been naughty or nice this year?
I've been pretty good.
Oh, fantastic! Now tell me, what do you want for Christmas?
I mean, that's a tough question because there are...
Say it again?
Wait, I didn't even say it. Just listen, okay? 1 second.
Okay, got it! I will see you soon! Merry Christmas and bye-bye!
Fuck.
Billy's YouTube channel is an interesting little look into his passions and hobbies and art, as well as a lot of videos, some of which are genuinely funny or interesting. He does food reviews.
No, that's delicious. That is really good.
Discusses new additions to his collection of 80s and 90s memorabilia.
So after I got it home and took a half hour to peel off the goddamn tape, I looked at it a bit more, and there's a spelling error for non-commercial private, and they spell homes Houmes, homes. I guess I don't know, but that happens,
Posts live recordings of his music and reads the children's books that he's written and illustrated. See, I brought Where the Wild Things Are up earlier because he writes his own children's books. It's cool. I really like this video of him reading his book to you like it's an episode of Reading Rainbow. It's comfy. There are other non-animated music videos on the channel as well. Stuff that he filmed years and years ago, stuff that he filmed recently. He even told me which video of his is his favorite when I asked him.
I guess in terms of meaning, like special meaning, I would say 1031, my song about Halloween. That one probably for me as a whole, I'm including the music video that I shot for it. The song and video, that's probably what I'm most proud of. And, as I said, I record everything myself. So the song is recorded by me, the instrumentation, the lyrics, the vocals, everything. I produced it myself, I released it myself, and then the music video, I shot it all myself with just a little digital camera. And my childhood friend Brett is playing. There's like a Grim Reaper, like a guy in a vintage Halloween costume in the music video, and it's just imagery of fall and leaves. And I'm just real proud of it because I did everything myself, and it's just special to me because Halloween was always really, really special to me as a kid. And my mom had just passed away, not before the song was recorded, but before the video came out. So the video is just pictures of me as a kid around Halloween and my mom dressed as a witch, and just the whole thing as a whole. That's my favorite thing that I ever did, I think.
I want to return to that question I asked earlier. How long can an artist continue to create for no audience? I think it's easy for anybody to brush this off, to say that creating in itself is a reward, and I'd even be hard-pressed to agree with you. But in reality, how much can one person take before the lack of recognition for your work destroys your desire to make anything? The ghost in you, despite how much I have been praising, has largely existed quietly, by itself, with very little fanfare. The Flipnote music videos had gotten a little bit of attention online, so much in fact that Mr. Pollard was invited to New York to appear as a guest on Nintendo Week, a live show produced by Nintendo of America during the Wii era, which he described like this.
I had emailed the guy on there, I think his name is Jerry Beck. He's like an animation historian. He's been on Popeye DVD commentaries and things like that. But he posted my video, and immediately that it got 10,000 views in a couple hours, and then Nintendo found out about it and contacted me and offered to pay for me to take an Amtrak to New York City and be on their show Nintendo Week when they had the Wii.
Wow, really?
When the Wii. Yeah, so there was this show called Nintendo Week, which was I guess it would be what Nintendo Direct is today.
Yeah.
And it was hosted by this blonde girl and this guy, and so that was I remember thinking, this is 2010. I'm wow, taking the train with my girlfriend at the time, to New York. This is it. This is gonna be my break, And the video got 100,000 views, but nothing really ever changed. My growth in fans didn't grow or anything. So yeah, it's very disappointing.
Yeah, it
was a fun experience. It was really fun.
No, it sounds awesome. I didn't know that you were contacted by Nintendo of America and you got to be on their show. That's sick.
And I was in Nintendo Power, which was really cool because that was like a magazine I read when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That would have been like before they disbanded. That's crazy. Yeah. 'Cause they stopped in like 2013 or 2014 or something. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, and it was awesome because it was the holiday. I think it was the 2011 holiday issue, which is like the big issue with Zelda with Link on the cover.
That's sick.
So it was like, it was awesome. And it was only in the back, and it was just like screenshots of the flip note and a little tiny paragraph, but it was awesome. Just, go to the grocery store and pick it up.
Yeah, I mean, hey, like here I am.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's cool. I wish I was still reading Nintendo Power at that time. It would have been sick to see you in there. I have the
scans. I can send them to you.
Yeah, send me the scans later if you remember.
I will.
That'd be sick. Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool.
It is difficult to break out online. I think there's this guy I've been following online for a while that does like video game reviews, and he described it as like, how did he describe it? He described it as like throwing a message in a bottle out into an ocean that's just messages in bottles, and like
that's a good analogy.
Yeah, just the likelihood that you'll get anywhere with anything it's so low, but it does happen.
Luck.
It is.
Yeah,
it is luck. Yeah, I've been making music for a while too myself, since 2011 or 2012, and also to no audience until I started doing this YouTube stuff, and people have found the music through that. But it's there's something kind of freeing about making stuff like to the void a little bit, I guess. But I know you don't want to hear that right now.
I guess so. Yeah, it's hard to, because I know like that the majority of artists out there, like true artists, I'm not talking about like Instagram artists and kids today who just want to be famous for no reason, but like I think for most real artists, they create because they have to create, like it's in their blood, they have to do it.
Yeah.
And that is a part of me, but for the most part, I always created in any respect, whether it's trying to crack a joke in school and make friends laugh. I've always made a song or a piece of art for it to be seen or heard by as many people as possible. So when I, pour my heart and soul into a piece of music or a full book, and it only gets like, I'm doing air quotes here, liked or viewed by like 12 people on my Instagram, like it's very depressing, and it's part of the reason why I don't create as much today, like at all.
Yeah, it's discouraging. The Ghost in You's last album came out in 2016, and I don't say this to be hurtful or cruel, but it was dedicated to his mother, who had just passed and who seemed to also be his biggest fan. Losing a parent is hard for anybody, and I am sure that it's an incredible oversimplification of Billy's relationship with his mother to say this. But what the fuck do you do when the person that believed in your art the most is now gone? That seemed to be the last of his creative energy for a while. There were a couple of songs he'd release very occasionally, but for the most part he hasn't really been posting music much for the past few years. Until about a month ago.
Said I was okay, but I lied.
YouTube description for God Forgive Me, the first song by The Ghost in You in 2 years, speaks to me. Billy's a likable guy to me, and his humility about his artistic ability is one of his defining traits, and his dry way of speaking is charming to me. But this part here, where he speaks about how someone reached out to him, and it moving him so much that he felt the desire to pick up the guitar again. I love that shit. Making art, making music, whatever, it's valuable beyond words. And even enjoying the art, loving the art that other people make, that is also, I think, valuable beyond words. If you're watching this, Billy, thank you for doing what you do. Please don't stop. Anyone else out there watching, if you enjoy the art that you consume, speak about it. Share it around with all your friends. And if your art has been unrecognized and unseen, keep at it. There's so much value to it. It makes having fun on the computer possible for all of us. Thank you. Hey, thanks for watching the entire video. I appreciate it a ton. I'm sorry that it took so long. I had some pretty crazy real life stuff going on. My roommates and I had to move across the country because rent got too expensive where we were living before. And after this like really long, stressful trek to our new home, my roommate got really sick, like not even 2 weeks after we moved in, and she had to go to the ICU for a week. It was really scary. I thought that my best friend was gonna die, but she is doing much better now. She's doing much better. She's recovered fully. She has regular medication that she takes for her condition. But that's the main reason this video took such a long time. I just had a lot of shit going on. I'd like to formally thank everyone that contributed to the GoFundMe that we put up when we put it up. It really, really helped us out during a terrible, horrible time. But we're still, like, unfortunately hit with, like, the most amount of medical debt that I've ever dealt with in my life. So I'm gonna plug the Patreon again because I need any help that I can get right now. I've had trouble finding a job since I moved to this new location. So I've decided that, like, the best course of action for me is to just try and make this YouTube stuff my job. So if you like the videos, please consider checking that out. It's really late. I've been editing for a while today. Thank you for listening. Thank you all for the support and the kindness that you've already shown me and my family. I'm very, very grateful for it. I'll do my best to keep making fun videos for you guys to watch. That's it. Thank you.